I'm 83 years old, and I need to tell you something that might surprise you. The things that actually matter at this age aren't what you thought they'd be when you were younger. They're quieter, simpler, harder to see unless you know where to look. My name is Laura Grace. I was married to Vincent for 46 years before he died 15 years ago. I've raised 5 children. I've survived a catastrophic fall that left me alone on the floor for 11 hours. I've fought my way out of a nursing home, and I've lived long enough to know exactly what separates the people who are just surviving from the people who are actually living. The thumbnail says 5 things, but I'm going to give you 7. Count them as I go, because by the end, you'll know exactly where you stand. And if you have even 3 of these, you're ahead of most people your age. Thing number 1, a place with your name on it. If you're between 65 and 80 and you have a home big or small, paid off or not, with your name on the deed, you've done something most people dream of but never achieve. I bought this house with Vincent in 1978. Small, 2 bedrooms, nothing fancy. When he died, my son David told me I should sell it, move somewhere smaller, somewhere easier, somewhere meaning closer to him so he could keep an eye on me. I told him no. This is mine. My name is on this deed, and I'm staying until they carry me out. That's not just real estate. That's dignity. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. After 65, having your own place isn't about investment. It's about survival. Landlords don't want senior tenants. They worry about health issues, about liability, about what happens if you pass away in the unit. It's cruel, but it's real. If you still have to move at 70, at 75, at 80, your options shrink fast. Rent goes up. Choices go down. But if you have a home with your name on it, you have something no one can take away. You have a door you can close, a bed that's yours, a roof that won't disappear. It doesn't matter if it's a small apartment, a mobile home, or a house in the suburbs. If your name is on that deed, you've secured something priceless: stability. Your children know you're safe. Your mind is at ease. You're not one rent increase away from crisis. When I wake up, I look at the walls and think, this is mine. No one can make me leave. That feeling is worth more than any vacation I never took. If you have a place with your name on it, you're doing life right. Thing number 2, legs that still carry you. If you can still walk to the mailbox, climb a few stairs, or stand without help, you're in a smaller group than you think. 3 years ago, I fell hard in my bathroom at 2 in the morning. I lay there for 11 hours before anyone found me. When they finally got me to the hospital, the doctor said, "You're lucky you didn't break your hip." I said, "I don't feel lucky." He said, "Trust me, you are, because if you'd broken your hip at 80, you might never walk again." Your legs are not just limbs, they're freedom. When your legs work, you can go to the store yourself, visit a friend, walk through your home without fear, get up from a chair without using your hands, stand while cooking, move without asking for help. The moment your legs fail, everything changes. You need assistance. You need rides. You need patience from others. Your world shrinks to the distance between your bed and your chair. I walk every single morning, not far, just around my block, 20 minutes. My knees hurt, my back's not perfect, but I can still move, and as long as I can, I will, because the day your legs stop working is the day your independence ends. If you can still walk on your own, you're doing life right. Thing number 3, one friend you can actually talk to. Not 10 friends, not 5, just one. One person you can call when something's on your mind. One person who actually picks up. One person who knows your story and still wants to hear more. If you have that, you're wealthier than most people realize. I have a friend named Ruth. We've known each other for 40 years. We meet every Thursday for coffee. Same place, same table. We don't talk about anything important. We just talk, and somehow that's everything. Here's what happens as you age. Friends disappear. Some move away. Some get sick. Some pass. Some just stop calling. And before you know it, you're alone. But it's not about having a full contact list. It's about having one real connection. One friend who remembers your birthday. One friend who asks how you're really doing. One friend who doesn't just talk, who listens. If you have one person in your life who truly knows you, who cares about you, who shows up even when it's not convenient, you have something most people spend their whole lives searching for. If you have one true friend, you're doing life right. Thing number 4, children who still call. Not children who need money. Not children who only show up on holidays. Children who actually want to hear your voice. If your kids call you just to talk, just to check in, just to say hello, you've done something right as a parent. I have 5 children. 3 of them call me regularly. My daughter Sarah calls every Sunday. My son David calls twice a week. My daughter Emma calls when she's driving home from work just to chat. I don't need them to visit all the time. I don't need gifts. I just need to know they still think about me. Here's the painful truth. Many parents at 65, 70, 75 barely hear from their kids. The phone doesn't ring. The visits stop. The relationship becomes transactional. But if your children still call you, not because they have to, but because they want to, you've built something strong. You raised them in a way that made them want to stay close. If your children still call you, you're doing life right. Thing number 5, enough money to live without begging. Not wealth, not luxury, just enough. Enough to pay your bills, enough to buy groceries, enough to cover your medicine, enough that you're not dependent on your children for survival. If you have that, you have dignity. Vincent worked as a postal carrier his whole life. Never made much, but we saved a little. Now I get his pension and Social Security. It's not a lot, but it's enough. I don't need fancy things. I just need to know I can take care of myself. When you have basic financial security, you're not asking your kids for help every month. You're not choosing between food and medicine. You're not lying awake at night wondering how you'll pay rent. I don't have extra money, but I have enough, and that's all I ever wanted. If you can pay your own way, you're doing life right. Now let me ask you something. How many of those 5 things do you have? If you have all 5, you're not just doing well, you're thriving. But here's the thing. I promised you more than 5. And I'm keeping that promise because there are 2 more things that truly separate the people who are just surviving from the people who are actually living. Thing number 6, a mind free from resentment. Can you go to sleep at night without replaying old arguments in your head, without hating someone from your past, without bitterness eating away at you? If you can, you're free. Resentment is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. It doesn't hurt them. It only hurts you. For years, I was angry at my daughter, Linda. She's the one who pushed hardest to put me in Meadowbrook. She's the one who told me I couldn't take care of myself. She's the one who made me feel like a burden. I would lie in bed at night replaying our arguments, thinking of things I should have said, getting angrier and angrier. One day my doctor asked me, "What's eating at you?" I told him about Linda. He said, "You're the only one paying the price for this anger, not her, you." That night, I decided I was done. I didn't call Linda. I didn't apologize. I just decided this doesn't matter anymore. And the moment I let it go, I felt lighter. Here's the truth about resentment. As you age, it gets heavier. When you're young, you can carry grudges and keep moving. But at 65, 70, 75, that weight becomes unbearable. Letting go doesn't require the other person to change. It doesn't require an apology. It doesn't even require contact. It just requires you deciding, I'm done carrying this. After that fall, after those 11 hours on the floor, I started writing things down, just for me. Little rules I made for myself. Things I'd learned about letting go, about protecting my peace. I didn't think anything of it. It was my granddaughter Claire who found the notebook months later and told me other women needed to read what I'd written. She's the one who put it online. She called it The Ultimate Guide to Freedom. I still feel strange about it, honestly. But that's a story for the end of this video. Who are you still angry at? Who are you still blaming? Whose name makes your chest tighten? That person might not even remember what happened. They might be living their life completely unbothered while you're still suffering. Is it worth it? If you can go to bed at night without carrying grudges, without replaying old fights, without wishing harm on anyone, you've achieved something most people never do. If you can sleep without resentment, you're doing life right. Thing number 7, a reason to get up in the morning. Not just waking up, but having something to wake up for. Maybe it's your garden. Maybe it's your grandkids. Maybe it's a hobby, a project, a routine that gives your day structure. If you still have something that makes you want to get out of bed, you're alive in the truest sense. When Vincent died, I lost my reason to get up. We used to have breakfast together, go for walks, watch the news. It was routine, but it was ours. After he died, mornings became empty. I'd wake up and think, why bother? My granddaughter Claire bought me a bird feeder. She said, put this outside your window, just try it. The next morning, a cardinal showed up, then a blue jay, then sparrows. I started waking up to check on them. I'd make coffee, sit by the window, and watch the birds. It wasn't much, but it was something. Those birds gave me a reason. And once I had that, I started finding other reasons too. Here's the truth about life after 65. Purpose doesn't just disappear, but it changes. When you're younger, your purpose is obvious. You work, you raise your kids, you build your life. But after retirement, after your children are grown, after your spouse is gone, suddenly there's a void. The people who thrive after 65 are the ones who find new reasons to get up. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to change the world. It just has to matter to you. Maybe it's watering your plants. Maybe it's calling a friend. Maybe it's working on a puzzle. Maybe it's cooking your favorite meal. Maybe it's taking a walk or sitting outside with your coffee. It doesn't matter what it is. It only matters that it's yours. I write letters, old-fashioned letters to my grandkids, to old friends, to people I haven't seen in years. I don't know if they read them, but I write them anyway. It gives me something to do. If you wake up every morning with something to look forward to, even if it's small, you're living. If you have a reason to get up, you're doing life right. So let me ask you again. How many of these 7 things do you have? I mentioned earlier that I started writing things down. Claire helped me put it online, The Ultimate Guide to Freedom. I'm embarrassed to admit this, but my son David called me 3 days ago and told me to take it down. He said, "Mom, you're embarrassing the family. You're airing things you shouldn't." I've been thinking about doing it. I don't know how much longer I'm going to have the courage to keep it up. The link to the ultimate guide to freedom is in the pinned comment. I might take it down soon because I'm losing my nerve and because David keeps pressing me. So if something I said today reached you, click it now. Don't wait. One of my children called me last week and said, "Mom, people are watching these videos and talking about our family." I told them, "Good. Maybe someone needs to hear it." If this story reached you today, leave a like. It tells me to keep going. I read every comment you leave, every single one. So if you have some of these 7 things, tell me which ones. Subscribe if you want to keep talking. Every week I sit down at this table and I tell you the truth because someone has to.